we go. Get ready to have a good time. This is exciting, isn't it?
All right, we're on. Hello, testing.
Welcome aboard the Dreamliner.
It's the only way to fly.
I've allotted 1 hour for recreational activity. There's no time for irrelevant conversation. Fun will now commence.
Garry.
Here's a young speaker who is really in demand.
Don't let that go to your head, Garry.
But wait, there's more.
That's what I'm talking about.
He's Garry Meier.
Ho, GarrForce. I'm Santa Pickering with the Garry Meier Show Cocktail Hour Live News on November 26th, 2021 at 6 p.m. Eastern. Hey, do we know what time it is at the North Pole? Well, I lost track after daylight saving time ended. Oh, but I do know that it's 1 p.m. on Maui. Our top story tonight, for our friends that celebrate Hanukkah, I hope you're just about done dashing around the stores because the 8-night Festival of Lights begins this Sunday night. Of course, for those that celebrate Christmas out there, I see you when you're sleeping, and I know when you're awake. I know when you've been bad or good, and whether you've subscribed to the GarrForce Live YouTube channel, for goodness sake. Ho, 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 ho. There are just 4 more weeks to help Santa Pickering get ready for the big day. And maybe you could order some GarrForce t-shirts or coffee mugs from GarryMeier.com for me to leave in your friends and family's stockings or under the tree. Or how about a subscription to Garry's premium podcasts? 'Tis the season for streaming. Ho, ho, ho.
Hope you had a great Thanksgiving, GarrForce, and that you haven't created too big of a Black Friday credit card bill for yourself just yet. According to Garry, this is the Black and Hard edition of the show. That's Black Friday and hard liquor.
Cocktails, woo, drinks.
Plus a nod to the Beatles' Hard Day's Night with the 3-part series named Get Back from director Peter Jackson, now streaming on Disney+. We'll even have some hard news, with Wisconsin reporter Ryan sharing the story of his family's participation in the Christmas parade in Waukesha that was marred by a car on a rampage. On the much lighter side, we've got Bart, the Canine Hero. Plus, Garry will chat with Jason Geis, the artistic director of ComedySportz Chicago. And on a very positive note, I really enjoyed the new show Drawn to Life by Disney and Cirque du Soleil that debuted over at Walt Disney World last week that I mentioned in last week's show opening. And of course, no matter where you are, it's time for a digital mimosa. For those new to the show, Garry podcasts 5 days a week. Tuesday and Thursday podcasts are available to premium subscribers. Listen to free shows and sign up for premium shows at GarryMeier.com, where you'll also find Garry's blog and merchandise. Friday's Cocktail Hour live shows stream free right here. Comments are welcome on all of our live streaming channels, and you can also text us at 773-888-2157. Regular charges may apply. All of our past live shows are available on the GarrForce Live YouTube channel. We also recommend it as the best place to stream when we're live. Please take a moment now to subscribe on YouTube. It's free, and if you click that little bell icon next to the subscribe button, you can be notified when we're live. Like and share the show on all of your favorite social media channels too. If you've done that already, thanks. Now, fasten your seatbelts, it's time to go wheels up on the GarrForce Live!
All right. GarrForce is live. The cocktail show is in progress here. Thank you, Alan Delinka. Let's kick the tires and light the fires. Let's go. Let's get the wheels up. Last week, I hit some goo. I know some of you spilled your drinks. I'm sorry, but every now and then, things bubble under the surface and they might erupt. I don't know when. Hopefully today we'll just have a good time. But having said that, we're going to talk to Ryan, my Wisconsin correspondent, in a few minutes about that horrific situation in Waukesha last Sunday. Now, before I get to a lot of stuff here, there's a lot to unpack, and you heard what's going to happen on the show in the opening there. let me say hello to people who have checked in on the comment section already. We got Dale from Peoria, Illinois. Keely Ann, hey, Alan, can you put Keely Ann? She's usually the first in. My schnauzer got stuffed yesterday. Okay, good. That's what you're supposed to do on Thanksgiving. And hers got stuffed, and I hope it was good. White meat, dark meat, it's all good. You got Barbara from Arizona, Lloydster, Deborah, Terry, Larry, Anthony, Rich from Seattle. He wants to release the Kraken. I do too. And Kraken is the name of their new NHL team. It's the Seattle Kraken. Wow, that's pretty funny. Deb from Des Plaines, Illinois, Lloydster. He's got his service schnauzer on board. He's ready to go. And now let's go to the screen door. See who's checked in here. Joe, Plainfield, Illinois. Dan, Anthony, John, Kristen, Mark, Chris, Doug, Johnny from Michigan is checked in. It's all good. All good stuff. Hey, great. You're all checking in. Everything's good. Yesterday at Thanksgiving dinner, I had a few cocktails and I got kind of pre-lit. That's my Christmas MO. I get pre-lit. They have the pre-lit trees, and then I get pre-lit before the cocktail show now for the rest of this holiday season. And let's bring Leslie in to officially start the festivities here because she has to release the wine condom.
You know, and since we're doing the Black and Hard show, I don't drink hard liquor, but I've decided to go with a red wine. That's kind of dark and
Yeah,
mysterious.
that's dark enough. Yeah, it is
So-
the Black and Hard show, Black Friday, hard liquor. Hope you had the Blackest Friday ever.
Apparently, a lot of people decided to go out there and get those bargains. I kind of don't get the whole idea of standing in line when you don't have to, but some people love the vibe. And
I don't know why. I really don't. I've
kudos to ya.
never done that. I really don't get it. What I did today, I disassembled our pumpkins. They were disassembled and I turned them into animal food so some other creature can enjoy them
Aw.
in their post life. And that was
It's
my day.
the ultimate recycling. That's very kind of you.
Yeah, what's wrong with that? That's
Oh,
what we
so
do.
here we go.
All right,
Um,
let's remove it. Oh, where'd it go? Oh my God. Where did it
That one
go?
was good.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
so let's fill her up.
How was your day? How was your Thanksgiving?
Fantastic. We had a Ted Lasso Thanksgiving. We had our regular family and then had quite a few members of the Notre Dame men's soccer team in attendance. And they were all amazing gentlemen, and they're all headed to the playoffs right now. And it's very, very exciting. So, yeah, it was very cool. And it really was Ted Lasso. The only thing missing was Sam Obisanya.
Okay, for those of us who haven't seen Ted Lasso, how does that tie in?
It's because the whole show, the premise of the show is that this guy gets hired to be a soccer coach in the UK. He doesn't even understand the game. He's a football coach from the US, gets hired there with the sole purpose of tanking the team, but then everything changes and it's just a feel-good show after that.
Okay. What I have seen, I've seen the first 20 minutes of the Beatles Disney Plus series Get Back.
So you
Yeah.
only have like 5 hours and 50 minutes
Yeah,
left.
well, it's hard when there are family members and everybody's sitting and gathering, and I want to go in another room and watch 2 hours of a documentary. I don't think that's going to play. So I watched the first 20 and I thought, okay, I'm getting stares here. But I have to say, I said something on the show this past week that made me sound, and I cop to stupid when I'm stupid. I don't try to pretend I'm not. If I'm stupid, I'm stupid. And this is what I get for listening
You're not
to some.
stupid. You are just
I'm not.
ignorant of the facts.
Yeah,
let's
okay,
say.
whatever that is. I got to stop listening to these people on satellite radio. They say a lot of stupid stuff. And I was listening to the Beatles channel on satellite, and the host said a few days ago, okay, the series will be released at 3 a.m. Eastern, midnight Pacific. And I thought, well, that's not prime time. I thought this was a big deal. Okay. And then come to find out, Murray, they released it at midnight Pacific because that is Thursday officially on the West Coast, which means the whole country is now into Thursday, and then you can watch it anytime. I thought, because I'm so programmed, see, I grew up with things being at a certain time, and I have to shed that because nothing is at a certain time anymore. It's, even the Disney characters. What the hell's wrong with him?
The real Beatles fan would get up and try to be the first person to see it, because they throw out the spoilers and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so you do have a certain element that will be there as soon as it starts streaming.
But it wasn't, see, I'm thinking 3 a.m. That's just the release. You can watch it anytime, Garry. What's wrong with you? All right. The first 20 minutes that I went on a Beatles Facebook page, and some people were complaining it moves too slowly. It's not. This would be, to me, like watching the Wright brothers if there was a camera on the Wright brothers building their plane. And I'm sure every moment of them building a plane wasn't interesting either. But you're seeing something pretty amazing that's being put together. And that's the whole concept here. We have this real fabulous footage of them in a studio, a movie studio with no frills. And I'm looking at this and thinking anybody else in today's world who's in show business would have all kinds of creature comforts and big deli tables and everybody kissing their ass. They're put in this little studio. They had 2 weeks to write 14 new songs that they were going to perform live. These are the Beatles. And you've got D-level celebrities now that get treated better than that.
Yeah, some guy with auto-tune has got a 20-person posse. Here they had like their wives and kids there pretty much,
and
right?
a couple of roadies, and that was it. So it's pretty fascinating, and I'll be anxious to see the rest of it. Okay. We have a GarrForce member who was in harm's way this past Sunday, and I did see a post by Walter on my Facebook page saying we're going to talk to Ryan about this, and Walter said, well, wait a minute. I thought the cocktail show was to get away from all this stuff. Yes, it is. That's the whole point of this show, to compliment and reward ourselves for getting through another week. And that's why precisely I want to talk to Ryan and why we celebrate getting through another week, because when a GarrForce member was in the crosshairs of hell, we need to talk. And Ryan is here to talk about how his wife and son were inches away from this maniac.
Walter admits I was just being whiny. It's okay.
That's all right. Walter,
That's
we
fine.
do this to say life is really in the balance every day. We're all on a string. This whole universe is a mystery. I saw this PBS special the other day about the universe, the cosmos. We're nothing. We're just floating in this black, who knows what. We're nothing. Enjoy. This is why we do this. Yes, we're
Don't
just
take
floating
it
around here.
seriously, yeah.
Yes, stop. Enjoy. Have a drink. Ryan, come on, brother. Come on. Let's talk about it.
Hey there.
Hey.
How are you?
Good. How long have you lived in Waukesha?
25 years.
Is this parade something that goes on every year, has been going on every year for many years?
I think I heard 60 years.
60 years.
Yeah. So it's a staple. I mean, we've been to a half a dozen times.
Okay. And your son is 5 years old.
He is.
And when did you first start taking him to the parade?
Probably when he was 1 or 2. I mean, just enough to kind of know what the parade was and wasn't into the candy at that point. So he was just kind of happy to sit and just enjoy the fire trucks and the police cars that went by.
Yeah. This is Norman Rockwell, Thomas Kincaid, any town, USA, the heart of America. You head out and you're thinking, hey, this is what we do every holiday season. And your wife and son, your wife Jamie and son Hank, are marching in the parade.
Yeah, they were with 50. They were a group of 50 with the Waukesha Catholic community. Henry goes to the Catholic school. So there was a group of them that we toyed with walking or just watching. They made the kind of the last minute decision that they were going to walk. And I decided I was just going to sit at the kind of the tail end of the parade with my mother-in-law. I didn't feel like walking. So I really opted out at the last minute from walking in that group.
And you're at the end of the parade route.
Yes, I'm at the west end. If anybody's seen the video where the car travels through those barricades and the police officer shoots 3 times at him. I'm right at the end. And of course I was lazy that day and didn't want to haul a chair. So I'm sitting on the curb with my, feet out into the road and the car whizzes by me. And it was just, that was unreal.
So how far is your wife and son from you at that point?
Oh, probably
6
6 blocks,
blocks?
7 blocks. Yeah, 6
Okay.
or 7 blocks.
And you're sitting there and this car goes by and knocks down we saw those sawhorses. Initially, that was the first piece of video we kept seeing over and over again. Did he knock those sawhorses down as you're sitting there? And
yeah, there was a big gap in the parade, and there was this again. It's been in other community parades. It's that Meier truck. It's like a lawnmower. It looks like Meier from the Cars movie, and it was like going really slow. And I was going like, "Come on, get going!" And then I saw this car whiz around, and it was all busted up. And I thought the first initial thing was like, "Oh, they must have like a stunt driver in the parade." You don't think there's going to be. And then when it goes through the barricades and gets the police shoot at him, that was like, "Oh, that must have been something else." But it was slow motion. And then we even sat there and my first reaction wasn't call Jamie because I didn't think it was anybody got injured. It was just like, oh,
that's part of the parade.
Or it was just a rogue car. Everybody's okay. And then, Jamie called me and said, we're okay. But again, I still didn't even register what had happened.
And okay, what happens now? So when do you realize something happened?
Well, when I'm walking back up to the east, up Main Street, and again, I've never been in this situation where it's like slow motion. There's people giving aid to other people. There's people huddled in doorways, and and I'm walking up there, still not processing everything of what's going on. And by the time I find Jamie and Henry, she luckily pulled him to kind of a back alley, so he was out of harm's way. But the front story was they were walking, and again, if people followed the news, the dancing grannies, unfortunately, they had some members perish as part of this. They were right in front of the dancing grannies. So Jamie recalls bits and pieces as the time goes on that someone said, watch out, or something like that. And she pulled Hank, I want to say seconds before the car came through, and then just kept moving him, to the side. So they were right in the thick of, a lot of the carnage.
And when you got to wherever you got, what did you see?
The people on the ground and other people helping, there was a group that was assisting, people on the ground and that were injured. And then there was groups that were huddled in doorways. And again, I wasn't processing it 100% because I didn't realize there was that much,
you're not thinking, okay, a car just ran over a bunch of people. I mean, that's not what you were possibly going to the parade to accommodate. So you wouldn't be thinking that. What did you do? Did you find Jamie and Hank and leave right away?
Yeah. So we stayed, I wasn't going to expose him to, anything that I had just seen. So we stayed on the kind of the back alley way and headed east. And I called our neighbor and said, I need you to come down here right now. Meet us there's a local eye doctor, and meet us there and get us the heck out of here. So we just kept walking, and first of all, I realized there was silence. I mean, there wasn't silence, but it was like silence. And then, it's nothing but police sirens and lights and just craziness. So we luckily got out of there. If we would have hung out of there, they were having people take shelters in businesses and restaurants and kind of went into a lockdown. So we were fortunate enough to get out of there while, we could. So
I'm looking at Twitter and going through it. I see Waukesha car went through a parade route. I'm like, okay, this sounds like something Ryan and his family would go to. I called you right at that minute. You had just gotten home and you were completely freaked out, as one would expect. And I'm trying to think of what all went on, and you're trying to process it. And we're talking. I'm thinking, this is how fragile, and I know it's a cliche, but it's true. You went to this Christmas parade, as you do every year, and now all hell's breaking loose. Wait a minute. This Twilight Zone episode is going on acid. Did you see this story? That somebody set up a GoFundMe page to get this guy out?
To raise the $5 million bail.
Yeah. Okay, this just came down, I believe, in the last 24 hours. Somebody put up a GoFundMe page to raise the $5 million to get this ditch rat out. And they're claiming that it was some kind of racist justice that's being served up here. The guy's got a track record, a police record, as long as you're armed. What is he, a convicted pedophile, I believe?
Yeah.
Did you see this?
He's got like 15 years of felonies and problem. He tried to run, or he did run a woman over.
His baby mama.
A week before this.
Yeah, and got out on $1,000 bond. And now people are dead because they let him slip through then. But his body of work, even without this, Leslie and Ryan and everybody, even without this Waukesha incident, this guy should be in prison for his body of work from years ago. What are we talking about here?
Yeah.
Well, and it took a little bit, but the GoFundMe has been pulled.
Yeah. Okay.
So he's
I
not
hope
raising
so.
any more funds. But the fact that anybody would even think of that, and
that's what I mean. It's Twilight Zone on acid. What? Yeah. Oh, this is racial injustice, or what? Look at his record.
The good news.
Ryan,
okay, go ahead.
No, I'm just to clarify. You said that there was a lot of body damage to the car. Did anybody? He never honked, right?
No.
And
again, I thought it was a stunt driver. I mean, that's how fast and how crazy it was, So it was no honks, no nothing. It was
so. And there were, based on what I'm hearing too, any number of opportunities for him to get off that parade route once he was on it. So the idea that maybe he mistakenly drove onto that street and then realized his error, he had opportunity to leave, right?
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of side streets, and the good news with the GoFundMe and all of that there is a lot of support here in Waukesha, and even if it's not a GoFundMe, there's the Waukesha Community Fund that United Way and the Waukesha County Foundation put together. So if if people are looking to help or any of that, there's if you do just a quick search, there's all kinds of support out there. Our for our group, the Archdiocese of Milwaukee and Hank's schools and everything have been nothing but, fabulous, reaching out to everybody and all of that. So, and luckily Hank, the only thing he remembers is, Dad's, there were shoes flying all over. He doesn't remember anything else, which is exactly what I had hoped. Jamie did the right thing and got him off there. Unfortunately she saw, and probably heard a lot of it. And some of that still, your mind puts that out, but it's coming back. So she's having a much more trouble than Henry is. And so, but that's good that he didn't see much other than he thinks there was shoes flying. So someone's foot must've got run over.
Did you say that one of the victims goes to his school?
Yeah. One of the groups, there was 15 out of our group of 50 in the Waukesha Catholic group. There was 15 that were hospitalized. And one of them is one of Henry's classmates. So among other, the Dancing Grannies, the Extreme Dance Team, Waukesha South Band. I mean, there's a whole myriad of injuries around and deaths around that. But in that little group that Jamie and Henry were at, there were 15 that ended up injured. And the people, the people that you, do you know any of them that were injured personally? No, just, I mean, some of the priests from the Catholic community there was one that was hospitalized that we knew, a little bit, but no, not personally. Also, there was some of my where I work, the staff members and some of other people were in the parade that also were unharmed, which was good. So okay, wow, yeah. So it's still unreal. As I said, there's a lot of healing that has to go on, but again, there's lots of support in the community here and from the outside. So I appreciate everybody reaching out and all the well wishes and the concern for the broader Waukesha community, plus my family. Yeah, we do this every week just to have a good time, and the Wisconsin Report is all light and fun and and you don't know, none of us know.
A former football player from the area has offered to cover all the funeral expenses. Yeah, the Watt brothers, JJ, and I don't remember the other one,6but they're all local. So yeah, so we'll get through it, but it'll take time to heal. And as I said, the community outreach and the support has been nothing but amazing. I drove the other day to Target and Culver's did a fundraiser, and there was 3 miles worth of cars backed up because they were giving 50% of the profits. So we'll get through it. And again, I appreciate everybody's support and concern for us here. Yeah, because there are more good people on the planet than bad. We hear about the bad, obviously, because somehow that attracts
viewers and listeners and all that. But let's go with there are more good people because we're seeing that now. All right.
Yeah. And before we leave on a kind of distraction note that's getting us through, if you want to share, Alan, what I have up there, the Titanic's not fully assembled yet. It's not ready for the voyage, but we're box 2 of 4. So that's been a savior in the last few days of us just sitting at home, just messing around, putting that together.
Ryan, you're at the point in the movie where that breaks. You're at the perfect break point. You just have to put a little Leonardo DiCaprio and Kate Winslet on that back ass part, and you're in the movie.
Yeah,
Jack.
Yeah. So that's been a good distraction from all of this. So there's something positive I wanted to share there.
That's 50 pounds of Lego bricks they're working on.
It is.
Nice.
It is.
All right, Ryan, we're glad you're all safe and sound.
So thank you.
Really? Okay. And Walter, I know you were being whiny, but you're right. This show is designed to take our minds off of what happened during the week. That's why I don't do comedy or any kind of cold opening about the infrastructure bill, because I don't want to hear it. That's all out there. Somebody else can deal with that shit. Alan said,
hey, how about that Omicron thing? Nah, let's not talk
Alan
about that.
said, I got a palate cleanser if you need it. And it's 2 minutes of a cappella. Let's cleanse. Got Jason Geis coming up from ComedySportz Chicago. And Leslie's got some stories. And Roberto, my friend Roberto, is going to talk to us about the Canine Hero calendar. Let's cleanse with some a cappella. What do you say?
I'm looking for it. It's not where it was in the list here.
Alan,
there it is. I got it. I know. All right, I got it. Here it comes.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. We pillage and plunder, we rifle and loot. Drink up me hearty yo ho. We kidnap and ravage and don't give a hoot. Drink up me hearty yo ho. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. When the crisp doors creak and the tombstones quake, spooks come out for a swinging way. Happy haunts materialize and begin to vocalize. Grim-grinning ghosts come out to socialize.
Welcome to our tropical hideaway. You lucky people, you lucky people. If we weren't in the show starting right away, we'd be in the audience too. All together in the tiki room. In the tiki room. All the birds sing words and the flowers bloom in the tiki room. It's a world of laughter, a world of tears, a world of hopes and a world of fears. There's so much that we share that is done, we're aware. It's a small world after all. 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 It's a small, small world. It's a small world.
Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Yo ho, a pirate's life for me. Grim ghosts come out to socialize. Come out to socialize. Yo ho, it's a small, small world.
Okay, see, you have to cleanse. I remember the morning of 9/11, our daughter was 4, and I'm thinking, she's not going to watch this over and over again. I went to TV Land. We watched Leave It to Beaver. They had a Leave It to Beaver marathon. I just completely immersed myself and her in that because I need something to tell me that life is not crazy ass. I mean, really.
We want crazy ass, though. I mean, we want good crazy ass.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Good crazy ass, not bad
like
crazy
somebody
ass.
from a comedy troupe or something like that.
Like Jason Geis here. Let's bring Jason up. Jason.
Hello.
Oh, wait,
yeah.
Hi,
okay.
Jason.
Hi,
Before
Leslie.
we get started, can we point out that we've got a giveaway this week again?
Let's
and
do
so
that.
you guys should probably start signing up for
Yes,
that.
and it's going to be, I think Alan will do hashtag black and hard.
There you go.
Hashtag black and hard. If you're picked by the computer, you'll get the wine condom, the GarrForce scarf, and Roberto is going to talk about the Canine Hero calendar that he's going to throw into the prize closet here. All right? Black and hard. Start putting that up. And later, the computer will pick the winner. Okay. Well, Jason, try to follow all that, huh?
It's quite a lead-in. Crazy ass and a wine condom, but I'll do my best, Gary.
But that's what you do because you're involved in comedy. And boy, do we need that more than ever. It's part of what you do as the marketing director for ComedySportz Chicago. I had a few members on a few months ago, and everything at that point that you were doing was on Zoom. The theater has reopened, but people are still kind of reluctant to come out en masse, you're saying, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think people are still trying to figure out how to venture back out and how to do some of these things they remember in a safe way. And, you know, I think part of it too is sitting through a theater program. I think people are trying to weigh, a lot of people realize they need to wear their masks, but I think a lot of people are also saying to themselves, do I really want to sit through a show with a mask on? So I think there's a lot of things right now that people are trying to figure out as they reintroduce themselves to entertainment in general.
Give us a little history of ComedySportz Chicago. How long has it been around? Where's it located now? I know you moved your theater recently, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So ComedySportz Chicago has been around since 1985 in Chicago. So we've been around quite a long time. I have not been with ComedySportz Chicago that long, but we used to be over at the Belmont Red Line stop in the heart of Chicago there. We had to give up that space during the pandemic because we could no longer afford to pay the rent. So we went ahead and let that go. And then we were lucky enough to be able to reopen this past October at the Den Theater, which is in a different neighborhood over in Bucktown, if you're familiar with the Chicago area, Bucktown Wicker Park. So we were able to reach an agreement with the Den Theater to be there for the next year. So we got very lucky to be able to find a space so quickly and be able to reopen.
And there are ComedySportz franchises all over the country. There's a ComedySportz, say Cincinnati, Cleveland, whatever.
Yeah.
And you're all separate entities, right?
Yeah. So there's over 30 different ComedySportz throughout the country, and there's one in Manchester, England. And yeah, they're all completely separate entities that are sort of managed and run by each city, how each city wants to. In some cities, that is the only thing in the building. In other cities, it is one of the shows that is offered as ComedySportz. But everyone runs independently, but everybody sort of buys into this sort of bigger program called ComedySportz Worldwide, where we do talk to each other. We do share materials with each other. There are certain things we all have to do. Like we all have to use the same logo. We all have to use the same colors and fonts and stuff like that. But other than that, we can run our theaters the way we want. But we do all talk to each other. So we do have the ability to communicate with all the different ComedySportz throughout the country, including the one in England. So that's pretty cool.
And it says ComedySportz in the title. It's not a sports program. It's comedy as a sport, just a sport of doing it. And that's why you call it ComedySportz, right?
Exactly. If it were comedy about sports, I would not be the artistic director because I know very, very little about sports. But yeah, it's comedy played as a sports. As a sports. It's two different teams, a red team and a blue team. And there's a referee that helps host the show and guide the audience through it. And we battle in improv games, and the audience votes which team they like the best. And at the end of the night, the team with the most points win. So it's very fun. It's very easy to understand. If you've ever seen like Who's Line or Wild and Out on MTV, it's very, very fun, sort of short-term attention span theater. You were talking about in your opening how people, you know, with the Beatles thing, people don't want to watch anything for longer than 30 seconds. This show sort of capitalizes on that because there's, you know, nothing's really longer than 3 or 4 minutes, and then it changes again. So it's super fun from that standpoint.
What is some of the material that's going through your theater right now? If you can give us an example of what you've been dealing with.
It's interesting. You would think, and normally in the past, whatever's going on sort of in pop culture or in the news or just in Chicago, usually makes its way on into the audience, and that's what they throw out as suggestions. Especially, during the election and during some of that time, that was a lot of what people were throwing out. But oddly enough, there's not that right now. Like I think we were expecting when we were going to come back, we were going to get a lot of either election type suggestions or COVID suggestions or just things in general. But people who are coming to see the show right now, I think genuinely do not want to think about anything else. So it's like we're not getting a lot of what I would say even. There's no trend in anything that what I would say is like, oh, we're getting this suggestion a lot, or we're hearing this a lot. What we're mostly hearing from people after the show is thank you, that this is like a nice little oasis where we were not being confronted with anything that's happening in the news right now, or don't have to be reminded about anything that's happening with COVID or anything like that. So in general, normally there is like a trend of like, this is what we're hearing or this is what we're seeing. But right now it's been very innocuous. It's been very like things like, oh, banana, tiger. It's very like, oh, well, this is nice. This is nice to not have to deal with this.
You're preaching to the choir, Jason, because if you're familiar with this podcast, I try to stay away from all that stuff. It just gives me a headache. And I comment often on the opening to Saturday Night Live where they go right to the political scene. And on a Saturday night, I really am not in the mood for any politic. I really am not in the mood ever. But certainly Saturday night, I've settled into the weekend. I don't want to be reminded of what's going on politically. I really don't, but they keep going to that well. Now, I'm not a TV writer or producer. Maybe I'm the idiot. Maybe I don't get it. But I need something to tell me, hey, everything can be made fun of except politics now. That's its own satire as far as I'm concerned.
Right. And I think that I think that there's something there for political humor, right? And there is an appetite for it, and there are certain spaces that do it well. I think for the most part we avoid it because it is a polarizing thing, right? And the show that we do, and it's kind of the philosophy that the theater is built on, is that anyone can come to the show and anyone is welcome to be at the show, whether you're 7 all the way up to 75. Like we don't swear, we don't talk about political aspects, we don't talk about religious aspects. And that's not because we're trying to like remove ourselves from that conversation. It's because we want to be that sort of oasis for anyone who wants to come see a show and laugh and have fun. So for us, it's not that we don't have thoughts or opinions there's definitely comedy there. There's comedy in everything, right? And like you said, SNL's doing their part to sort of have that voice in the conversation. We just don't feel like we need to add on to that conversation because for the most part, we're finding people don't necessarily want to be thinking about 100% of the time. So for us, it's a lot easier to just focus on having fun, making the audience laugh, no matter who they are, no matter what color state they're from. They can just sort of come and laugh and have fun. And that's, for me, I obviously have my opinions and where I lie and things like that. But for me, it is kind of nice to just sort of unplug from that and just be a silly goofball for, an hour or so. Because I think that's it. We forget how to do that sometimes.
And I'm trying not to forget that. And we talked this week about this commercial that's running about the whatever the remedy is. If you have a bump in your penis and they show a carrot with a bump, and it's a pharmaceutical commercial to show what happens to your penis if it has a bump using a carrot, and there's a remedy for that. That's the kind of stuff I like. The bulging eye commercial, the woman with the bulging eyes and she keeps taking off sunglasses and there's another pair of sunglasses. That kind of stuff. Your comedy. I'm a happy idiot. That's the way I'm going through life, and it served me well. I don't see any need to go any serious route.
No, you're full carrot penis. You don't need.
I'm full, right? I really.
Don't need.
Jason, I remember on my 16th birthday, I'm sitting in high school and thinking,
oh no.
Okay, now wait a minute. I'm thinking I'm turning 16 today. I'm not going to get any more mature than this. I like this moment a lot. I'm going to cling on to this forever, and I think I have, and I'm pretty proud of that. And I'm not apologizing for it. I'm happy with what I've done. As far as my thinking, I do not even, and this is not just because of the show. When I'm engaged with people in real life and they start veering towards politics, I go, I'm out. See ya. Yeah. If you want to talk about something else, I don't engage. It's not where I'm just doing this as an act. That's me. I don't get into that at all. I don't want to. It doesn't interest me. Thank you. Good night.
If
And
it
that's
helps
why
you,
I drink.
if it that's why you drink. If it helps you, I'm on your same maturity level.
Yeah.
Last night with my friends, Thanksgiving, we stumbled upon a whole Alexa playlist of different kinds of music with farts accompanying it. So there was like a reggae one, a motivational one, a big band one, and like listen to it for about 20 minutes. So that's where I'm at in my maturity level as a 44-year-old person.
Okay. I came upon an FM radio. I was unpacking some boxes and I saw this FM radio and I thought, here's my bet. I'm going to turn the FM radio on and say a Beach Boys song is playing. I'm going to go, FM, play the Beach Boys. FM, play the Beach Boys. That's me. And I don't know if my wife and daughter appreciate my humor altogether. I think I can be irritating, but that's the way I go. That's the space I live in. And again, I watched this PBS special the other night, and they showed these pictures from the Hubble and these other telescopes. Oh my God, I get real freaked out because I know we're nothing. But I also think because we're nothing, enjoy the ride. Stop with this nonsense.
I agree.
Right? And that's what you're doing at ComedySportz Chicago. Where you're located now?
We're at 1331 North Milwaukee Avenue in the Bucktown Wicker Park neighborhood of Chicago.
Okay, and what are the shows? 5 days a week, 6 days, 7?
No, I wish. We opened back a little slowly just because we weren't sure. Like what people were willing to go see. So right now we have Wednesday night shows and we have Friday and Saturday night shows. And so as we start to keep figuring things out, learning things, we hope to expand. But right now we're Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. And then we also do shows online on Fridays and Saturdays on Twitch.
All right. Always need a laugh. Thank you, Jason. Good luck with everything.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay. Bye-bye. All right, Leslie. See, that's what I do. I look for people who like to laugh.
Exactly, which is why we have latched on to bentcarrot.com. And if the folks... And mind you, I know that I believe it's Peyronie's disease is no laughing matter.
Of course.
But the commercial is. And if you guys want to advertise on the show, we'd be happy to have you. That is bentcarrot.com.
Bent carrot, I'll take the bulging eye, pharmaceutical. I'll take all of it.
Whatever, man.
Hey, can I advertise cigarettes? I don't know. Can you do that on podcast?
You know what? Can we not do that, please?
Okay. All right. I'm forcing it a little bit. I understand. I'm going to the extreme.
Some legal intoxicants. We're all over that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm here
keep
for
our
you.
Options open.
I'm here. All right. Let's pay homage to the fine sponsors of the program, and then I want to talk to Roberto. We'll find out about the calendar, and then we'll give it all away. What do you say? All right. Let's talk to Ellen to say, play the Bettenhausen commercial. Let's talk to Ellen. Okay, I will. That's what we do.
The Black Friday sales event is going on all month long at Bettenhausen Ram on 159th Street in Tinley Park with 0% APR for 72 months plus $3,500 total cash. Power on with the strength of a Bettenhausen Ram truck. Your best Ram truck buying experience starts now at BettenhausenCDJR.com.
Listener Janine is taking a friend to Bettenhausen tomorrow to look at used cars, and I think they're going to strike gold there. I have a family member that is looking at the Cherokee L. They test drove it. They said it's unbelievable, and it's much cheaper than these so-called luxury vehicles, $30,000 cheaper, and it's a better vehicle. That's what they do there at Bettenhausen. Go there if you're looking for a car. Even if you're not in the Chicago area, they can arrange to have it delivered, fly you in, you drive it home. It's all good. So don't just think, well, I don't live in the Chicago area. No. Call them. Work with them. And this man here is licensed in 35 states. If you want a mortgage or a refi, David Hochberg, look at that handsome man. Call those numbers and he'll fill you in with a free consultation on all kinds of stuff. Your credit score, veterans loans, 21-day close. A lot of stuff goes on with mortgages that you might not know about, but they do. And they will help you save money. That's what he does. Team Hochberg. Yeah.
Not to mention,
Financial.
He's our scarf daddy.
Yeah, he's my sugar daddy. He paid for those scarves. That's what he does. He's so good at everything. All right. And put in black and hard. All right. Let's cue up Roberto here, and he'll tell us about the calendar that we're going to throw in as part of the mix. And then if you want to buy one, it helps these dogs that Jason Johnson puts in the sanctuary that he started. So it's all good. And here is Roberto to tell us more about the calendar.
And folks with earplugs might want to turn the volume down a little bit because Bart barks pretty much
There's a
all the way
dog
through
bark.
the
Yeah,
interview.
okay.
Yes.
There's a dog barking.
Also, no space. Black and hard. It has to be one long word, kind of.
Yes, what she said.
Wayne.
And George says white and soft. No, that's not going to do it today. No,
Not today.
No. All right, here we go. Roberto, talk to us. And there's the boy. There's Bart. Hey, Bart. Hey, the GarrForce scarf looks good on him. And Roberto, you have dressed him well for his appearance on the GarrForce.
Thank you. That's the least I could do. He loves the scarf too.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Hello, Bart.
He's saying more scarf and schnauzer. Sorry.
More scarf and schnauzer. That's what my bumper sticker says. Roberto, I talked about how you got Bart. Why don't you refresh us on how you got Bart and how Canine Hero ties in, and then we'll talk about the calendar.
I want Bart calmer.
No, that's
that's
what dogs do. He's fine. So he is he featured on the calendar?
Not this year. He was in the very first one that they did in 2018, and it was photographs of him. And I think 2 years ago he was featured from an illustration that Allie Raines did for them, and that photo or that illustration's in a deck of cards. His silhouette is in the deck of cards. They just came out with a bandana that his silhouette is on. The calendar now they're at, I think Bart was in the 30s when Project Canine Hero and Jason Johnson took him in. And this year, I think last week they got the 150th dog. So this calendar features basically a lot of the new ones. Pardon, excuse me for the noise. I think he wants my bourbon. That's what it is.
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So that's the lowdown. I was fortunate enough to adopt him because he was retired for malignant hyperthermia, overheating, and couldn't work as long as a shift as he could or possible. Took him in from there. Within 6 months of adoption, he came about where he needed surgery. And it was one of those, like you said, timing and good lighting. Timing, I ran into someone who knew Jason and asked me, if someone could donate, what would you take? I was like, hell, man, it's cost so much. I'll take $5. And so within a couple of days, Jason contacted me. We talked about it here and there. And then, excuse that part. Talked about it here and there. And then I think when you spoke with him first, several years ago, it was like 6 months later that he said, all right, Bart is in the program now. So been very, very lucky. And also we're going on a year without any incidents for him with surgeries, or he had a bad eye problem last year. And they just, every time there was an emergency, hopefully let's cut that out. But Jason and Project Canine Hero has been there for him all around.
Okay. And Roberto, you mentioned that Bart was in the 30s, meaning there were 30 dogs, 30-some dogs at the time.
Correct.
Right?
Yes.
And now they're over 150, did you say?
155 was last week. I think he wants the camera on him.
Sure. Hey, buddy. And we're talking about the calendar because it's for sale. We're giving one away with the condom and the scarf this week. And it's on sale. That money helps Jason take care of the Barts and all the other dogs that he puts in his sanctuary in Tennessee.
Correct. And anything you buy, whether it's the shirts, the coffee mugs, socks, anything that he's got on the website, it's basically helping out with the donations for the dog, and then also with the new facility in Tennessee. And they're adding more kennels as needed. They've got I think a few dogs out for adoption now, but there's just rules you got to go by. So if they go onto the website, they could look it up from there, see if that dog's adoptable for them. A lot of it is I just read it this morning. I forgot it now. So with that, I'll have another sip.
That's what this show's all about. And what are you drinking?
This is a wheated bourbon, W.L. Weller's, one of my favorites. Oh, yeah.
Right. And as we're talking, Alan is putting up pictures from the calendar so people can get an idea what the calendar looks like. And I know calendars are maybe not 21st century, but that isn't the point. It's just a vehicle to put out there, and you can see the dogs that are being taken care of, and the money, as you mentioned, goes to help those dogs. And how long have you had Bart now, Roberto?
A little over 5 years. September was 5 years for us, and he's 9.5 years old. In February, he'll be at still with the way I've got his food balanced out, so he's more energetic. If not, it's like he hasn't lost a step since
And without Jason's help, those medical bills were pretty high. That would have been a tough road for you to pay for all those surgeries on your own.
Yeah, exactly. One of them is bad enough, let alone he had to have a few. You know, you can never predict what's going to happen with the dog. And thankfully, Project Canine Hero and Jason Johnson's been there since they took him into the program. And, you know, big help. The dogs, you could go online, look at all the dogs that he's been taken in, look at their history. And then, again, back to the calendar, that's what's featured in the calendar. It's the history of the dogs, what they've done, military-wise or police or fire department-wise. And it gives you more information to go from on there. And then it's just incredible the amount of work that these dogs have done, and Jason and Project Canine Hero are doing for the dogs in their retirement.
And the part that I highlight every time we talk about this is the fact that these dogs are not taken care of by the government, whom they worked for and did all those great things, saving our lives possibly from explosives that people might try to get on planes or drugs or whatever they're sniffing out. That helps us. You'd think the government would put some money aside and take care of these dogs in retirement, but that is not the case. That's why Jason Johnson is so special and why Canine Hero is doing this magnificent work, and we should support that any way we can. And this is a small part, but it's a part. Anything you can do to help Jason would be appreciated. We're giving away the calendar, and you've been looking at some of the photos, some of the dogs during our conversation. Again, what's the website to go to, Roberto?
So it's projectcaninehero.org, and it's the letter K for canine. And then if you could go on, I think he's on Twitter also, and then also on Facebook. There's a lot more. The newest thing that just came out, the Canine Axel, who passed away last year, they featured him with, there's a project with Huggle Hounds, which is dog toys. He's got a stuffed dog toy, and Canine Axel is featured on there. That just came out last week.
All right. Appreciate it, Roberto, and have a great holiday. And Bart, thank you for all of what you've told us today, too.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Gary. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Peace and love.
God, I love that dog. The calendar is now buy one, get one free for $25. And really, when you see Bart and all those other dogs that who knows what would happen to them after they retire from the airports, the police departments, come on. That's something that we have to embrace here.
You know, and you find out that they really do put these dogs through their paces. So they end up with all sorts of maladies related to the service that they've performed. Damn, we should be paying them back.
Yeah, when you see,
what a good boy.
Remember that building collapse in Florida, and those dogs were walking over all that rubble,
broken glass and rubble,
trying to sniff out if any people were still alive or whatever. I mean, really, think about that. Their poor little feet on all that rebar and glass and everything else. That's what they do. We have to keep those dogs in our thoughts as they retire. And that's what Jason does. All right. Wow. This is an emotional show for me today.
I mean, we've really kind of ridden the roller coaster here, but sadly, Keith Conrad couldn't be with us today, our producer, because he was busy doing Thanksgiving things with his family. I'm thinking we have a picture that he posted to social media.
What's Michael Jackson doing in that?
At the Field Museum in Chicago. Oh my! I mean,
Oh my, that really looks just like him. To
and like I
the
said,
nose.
with the disintegrating nose, even. Holy
Whoa.
shnikes, man! That's
Yeah,
that's eerie.
that's weird. All right, you have some stories.
I do. Let's see, what do we got going on here? Walmart is pulling a dancing cactus toy from store shelves and the company's website after some Polish speaking customers blew the whistle on its inappropriate content. Turns out the little green potted plant sings in English, Spanish, and Polish. It's the Polish song about little white eels that has some parents upset, since the eels here are a thinly veiled reference to lines of cocaine. There's also plenty of swearing in the song, as well as lyrics about suicide and depression. And while Walmart is no longer selling the cactus toy, it is apparently still available through all sorts of other online retailers.
Kunta kinta kusha, do the bit the blow, yeah. It's in Polish, and this is a Polish rapper who didn't know they were using his stuff until he found out. Then he went, "Wait a minute, I didn't give you any authority to use that."
No Danka Sinterklausa.
Yeah.
No, we want some cash for this.
Yeah.
But the toy apparently is made in China, and
No.
they don't
Yeah,
go figure.
I'm shocked.
So there's a new stupid TikTok phenomenon. It's called the Kool-Aid Man Challenge. Kids are capturing and sharing video of themselves busting through wood and vinyl fencing, just like Kool-Aid's pitcher-shaped mascot. Obviously, participants run the risk of injury depending on how
Hope so.
good a fence they're trying to smash through. Also, it's a pain in the keister for homeowners who have to pay for the repairs.
Great. I love these TikTok videos where people get hurt. It's just my favorite thing. That's America's Funniest Videos. That's what that is. They always say after somebody does something where it looks like they get hurt, oh, they didn't get hurt. They get hurt.
no,
and I'm
that's
glad they do.
Well, somebody who didn't get hurt on TikTok, though, but had kind of a moment is this Florida mom who's racking up all sorts of likes on social media after she stepped in to help her son during his difficult day on the job. The son is Mike Kimmel, a snake wrangler who works under the names Trapper Mike and Python Cowboy. He captured video of his mom providing the assist as they struggled to capture I think it's about a 6-foot long python that had gotten itself into the undercarriage of a car. Despite her obvious aversion to snakes, mom can be seen grabbing onto this python's tail and pulling with all her might as Mike works under the car to dislodge the rest of him. She freaks out a little bit, apparently, in the video when the snake turns on her, but her son responds in a sweet, supportive way, saying, "Nice job, Mom. You're a freaking natural."
Wow. How long was the snake?
6 foot.
Wow.
It was yellow and hard to take out from underneath the car.
That's what she said.
So let's see. Do we have one more shorty here? What's it?
You got a
Yeah.
shorty?
Okay.
Okay.
Well,
Then we'll
I
give
have
away
a
the
shorty.
stuff.
And this is just one of those stories that I'm sorry, but I kind of dig it. While her name may be unfamiliar, you probably recognize her face. This is Sharbat Gula, and she gained international attention back in 1984 when she appeared on the cover of National Geographic as the face of Afghan refugees who at the time were fleeing the Taliban. It's her piercing green eyes that look right through you. If you see the picture, you know the picture. Well, she survived then and fled to Pakistan until they realized that she didn't belong there, and then they deported her back to Afghanistan in 2014. Well, now she's out of Afghanistan for good. The government of Italy has offered her residence as well as some plans to help integrate her into Italian culture.
All right, because Afghanistan is a shithole. All right.
There are swear. Oh, that's the only swear so far, really.
Oh,
this
that's
show
pretty
today.
good for this show. All right,
I'd say.
let's give away something here. The condom, the scarf, the Canine Hero calendar. Hit the computer, Alan. Let's see who's going to be the winner of all that stuff.
Oh, he just drank.
Deborah Uzun.
Wait,
You are
I
the
believe
winner.
a different Uzin won recently. So, Deborah,
Really?
congratulations to you. I
There are many
recognize the last
Uzins
name.
out there. If you've won before, we'll get somebody else. But is
But
that
this is Deborah. This is not the person
this
who
is a
won last
different
time.
Uzin?
Yeah.
And Leslie can explain how to get in touch with us, just like she did on last week's show.
You're supposed to send a message to someplace, and Alan takes care of that.
Wow.
Send a text to Gary's number or an individual message on Facebook, and let us know it's you somehow. That's the key.
We always get it to the
There
right
you go.
person.
Yeah.
I guarantee that. All right.
There's
So
the
far,
text
so
number.
good.
Let me
And
put that.
thank all of you
There's
for
the text
being so
number.
honest and
Yes,
helpful.
we have the most honest viewers. We really do. That's it. Thank you for watching this, and time to take the cannoli coming down the aisle. There it is. Look at it. It's beautiful. Ooh. Do you have any room after Thanksgiving to put your tongue in that cannoli? How about the schnauzer? What should we do with that?
I would take my schnauzer and hang out with the rest of the canine heroes.
Wow.
'Cause they're pretty cool.
Yeah, your schnauzer is going to get a lot of attention from those canine heroes. You fetch on all fours that way. Thank you for listening. Have a great rest of the weekend. It's shady Saturday and kind of a somber Sunday, and that all follows Black Friday. Take the gear down here, Alan. It's 3 in the green. The gear's down. The flaps are down. The GarrForce has landed.
Pretty good, huh?
If you like that, I got other stuff I think you're going to like. This is the GarrForce